You think Greek mythology is about heroes and gods? Think again. The ancient Greeks told stories so disturbing, so nightmare-inducing, that modern horror movies seem tame by comparison. These aren't legends, these are warnings. And once you hear them, you'll never forget them. Today, we're diving into 5 Greek myths that aren't just stories, they're pure psychological horror. And here's the terrifying part. The ancient Greeks believed every word was true. Before we begin, ask yourself, which of these nightmares would you rather face? Comment below, if you dare. Let's descend into darkness. Imagine being so hungry that you'd sell your own daughter. Then imagine being so hungry that you'd start eating yourself. Meet Erysichthon, a wealthy king who made one fatal mistake. He cut down a sacred tree in Demeter's grove. Not just any tree, one where a nymph lived inside. As the tree fell, blood poured from the bark. The nymph's dying scream echoed through the forest. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, appeared before him. She didn't kill him. No, death would be too merciful. Instead, she cursed him with Aidos, insatiable hunger. At first, Erysichthon thought nothing of it. He went home and ate, and ate, and ate. He devoured entire feasts meant for 100 guests. He emptied his treasury buying food from across Greece. He sold his palace, his land, his servants. But the hunger never stopped. In desperation, he sold his own daughter into slavery, again and again, exploiting her shape-shifting abilities to resell her, until there was nothing left to sell. The ancient texts say that in his final moments, driven completely insane by starvation, Erysichthon began tearing chunks of flesh from his own arms, his legs, consuming himself piece by piece. He died screaming, half-eaten, his stomach still empty. The Greeks whispered, "This is what happens when you disrespect the gods." But the real horror? Demeter never lifted the curse. He felt every bite. What if I told you there was a man who ran a roadside inn where no guest ever left alive? His name was Procrustes, which literally means the stretcher. He seemed friendly at first, a kind innkeeper on the road to Athens, offering weary travelers a free bed for the night. But this bed had a special rule. Guests had to fit it perfectly. Too short? Procrustes would hammer your bones, stretching your limbs on a rack until you matched the bed's length. Your joints would dislocate. Your spine would crack. Your screams would echo through the hills. Too tall? He'd pull out a saw and cut off your legs. Sometimes your head. Here's the twist that makes it pure psychological horror. Procrustes had 2 beds, one short, one long. He would size you up the moment you arrived and choose whichever bed guaranteed your suffering. No one fit perfectly, that was the point. The torture could last hours, sometimes days. The hero Theseus eventually killed Procrustes, but not before forcing him onto his own bed. Theseus cut Procrustes down to size, piece by piece, asking him, "Do you fit yet?" The ancient Greeks walked past the ruins of his inn for centuries, crossing to the other side of the road, because some places they believed remained cursed forever. What's the worst thing a parent could do? The Greeks had an answer, and it's worse than you can imagine. Tantalus was a king so wealthy, he dined with the gods themselves on Mount Olympus. But wealth and power corrupted him. He started stealing the gods' sacred nectar and ambrosia, sharing divine secrets with mortals. The gods were furious, but they gave him one more chance. They accepted his invitation to a feast at his palace. Tantalus wanted to test them, to see if the gods were truly all-knowing. So he did the unthinkable. He killed his own son, Pelops, butchered him, cooked him into a stew, and served his child to the gods. The room fell silent. The gods immediately knew what they were being served, all except Demeter, grief-stricken over her missing daughter, who absent-mindedly ate a piece of Pelops' shoulder. Zeus erupted in divine fury. He resurrected Pelops, giving him an ivory shoulder to replace what was eaten. Then he dragged Tantalus down to Tartarus for eternal punishment. Picture this. Tantalus stands in a pool of crystal-clear water that reaches his chin. Above him hang branches heavy with ripe fruit, figs, apples, pomegranates. He's starving, dying of thirst, but every time he bends to drink, the water recedes. Every time he reaches for fruit, the branches lift just out of reach. For eternity. The Greeks called this tantalizing, a word we still use today, never knowing its horrific origin. Tantalus is still there in Tartarus, forever hungry, forever thirsty, forever reminded of the son he murdered. Every werewolf movie, every transformation scene, every full moon legend, it all traces back to one man, King Lycaon of Arcadia. Zeus, king of the gods, decided to walk among mortals in disguise to test their hospitality. He arrived at Lycaon's palace as a humble traveler, but Lycaon was suspicious. He thought, if this stranger is truly Zeus, he'll know what I'm serving him. So Lycaon killed a hostage. Some myths say it was a child, others say a prisoner, and mixed the human flesh into the evening meal. Zeus took one bite. Thunder shook the palace. Lightning struck the dining hall. Zeus rose to his full divine height, eyes blazing with fury. You want to be a beast? Then become one. Lycaon's transformation was agonizing. His screams turned to howls. His fingers twisted into claws. Fur erupted from his skin. His face elongated into a wolf's snout. But here's the truly horrifying part. He kept his human mind. Lycaon retained his awareness, trapped in a wolf's body, forever hungry for the flesh he once served, unable to speak, unable to plead for forgiveness. The Greeks said that on clear nights, you could hear a wolf howling from Mount Lycaeus, not in rage, but in regret. This is the origin of lycanthropy. The first werewolf wasn't a curse you could break. It was a punishment that never ended. The most terrifying Greek myth isn't about monsters or curses. It's about what grief and jealousy can turn a mother into. Lamia was a beautiful Libyan queen who caught Zeus's eye. They had an affair. She bore his children. Then Hera, Zeus's wife, discovered the truth. Hera couldn't punish Zeus. He was too powerful. So she did something far crueler. She murdered all of Lamia's children. Every single one. Lamia returned home to find her babies dead. The grief shattered Lamia's mind completely. But Hera wasn't finished. She cursed Lamia with insomnia. She could never close her eyes, never escape the vision of her dead children. Lamia's beauty withered, her body twisted, her lower half became serpentine, and then the true horror began. Driven insane by grief and sleeplessness, Lamia began hunting other people's children, stealing them from their beds at night, devouring them. She couldn't have her own children, so no one else would either. Greek mothers would whisper her name to frighten misbehaving children. Be quiet, or Lamia will hear you. Ancient texts describe her lair filled with bones, small bones. But here's what makes this the darkest myth of all. Some versions say Zeus took pity on Lamia and gave her one gift, the ability to remove her eyes. So for brief moments, she could stop seeing the ghosts of her children. The creature parents used to scare children, was once a grieving mother broken by the gods' cruelty. Lamia wasn't born a monster, she was made into one. These aren't just stories. To the ancient Greeks, these were warnings carved into their collective memory. Disrespect the gods? You'll become Erysichthon, eating yourself alive. Show cruelty to guests? You'll become Lycaon, forever a beast. Betray hospitality? You'll meet Procrustes and his bed. Anger the divine? You'll suffer like Tantalus, forever tantalized. And if the gods' conflicts touch you, you might become Lamia, transformed by grief into something unrecognizable. The Greeks understood something we've forgotten. The real monsters aren't the creatures in the dark. They're what we become when pushed too far. Which of these horror stories disturbed you most? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more dark mythology that'll keep you up at night, subscribe and hit that bell icon. Because we're just getting started. The ancient world was far more terrifying than you ever imagined. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.